Yo, what's up, guys? So this one is called Part 2 log lines and subtweeting because this is a subtweet. I want to thank you, whomever voted on that. I was surprised that the blacklist video did not come out on top. Maybe that's because you guys are like, we already know it's bullshit, man. Talk about log lines. But I gotta make this fucking real quick. I gotta, excuse my appearance, I'm painting right now, but I gotta drop my lady off at the airport, deliver her. So I'm gonna try to talk fast as I can. Let's get to it. So, log lines. I want to say this at the top. I don't talk shit on writers. You know what I mean? That's not my style. And you have never seen me talk shit on someone else's work or someone's movie or whatever. I may have had notes or something like this, but I don't talk shit on it, if you catch my drift. That's not who I talk shit on. I talk shit on services and this kind of shit who are trying to take from writers and make false promises and this kind of shit. I don't go after writers, dude. I'm on the writer's side. Okay? This person, here's where the subtweet comes into it. This person said that they're gonna start telling people to fuck off and shit. Who? Other writers and shit? It seems like you're already doing that, bro. So name them. You know what I mean? And it's people like that, in my opinion, my spidey sense is never fucking wrong about these types of people. These social climbers and this kind of shit. I've seen it a million fucking times for 30 fucking years, okay? I don't need a fucking thing from them. And they also sort of, paraphrasing, made the point that essentially that certain people should shut the fuck up. And they talk too much and this kind of shit, which is fascinating to me because essentially what they're saying is me, you, them. Everybody should shut the fuck up except for them. Okay, so then what's your experience? Okay, of course I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna get into log lines in 1 second, but of course I'm gonna ask that question. So I did. So I asked somebody who I thought knows this guy's story. I said, "What's his story, man? Is he signed? Is he produced? All this kind of shit." And they're like, "I think he recently got signed, handful of months ago." So I'm like, "Okay, by who?" And they're like, "By them." So boom, I pull it up. Okay. This is an agency. No offense to the agency because I'm sure these people work their fucking ass off. That's the end of my disclaimers. However, I would never fucking sign with them, ever. And sidebar tip there, if an agency wants to sign you as a writer and they represent, fucking clowns and monkeys and, whatever the fuck else, marionette workers and ventriloquists and shit like this, I would skip it. I would skip it and I would wait for someone who really specializes in screenwriters. Okay? So the other thing I want to get into before I go into the logline thing is let's look at where does my information come from? My information comes from having been married to an agent for a really, really, really long time, decades, okay? And I'm asking, where the fuck does this guy's information come from? How is he so certain that, this is what was said. Paraphrasing, if you're not as famous as Bill Hader, then you have to do a log line. You are not as famous, all of us, as Bill Hader, therefore, you must do a log line. How does he draw that conclusion? I don't get it. Who told you that? Who told this guy that? And why is he at the pulpit preaching this to impressionable writers who some of them, they don't know? Is this correct? They're like, well, that guy said it and apparently he's got like a bunch of followers, so he must be correct when he's not. but he doesn't even realize that. He's not proven that to himself to be able to preach, you must have a log line. What did I say in my last video about log lines? I said, hey man, if you love them, keep doing them, bro. But you don't have to. Okay? Where does that come from? It comes from the fact that I've never fucking done one. Okay? And so let's compare CVs of whose information should I trust more? This guy, who's been a rep for a handful of months, brand new to the industry. And I have that question there. What studio people have you even met, let alone worked with? Okay? Compared to where I got the bulk of my information from, which is Sherry, And so let's go, what's his CV? Tell me, man. You're going to talk a bunch of shit on people and shit. Like, go ahead. Tell me what your fucking CV is, dude. Compared to Sherry, let's compare, my guy. So people know Devil Wears Prada, Wild, Gone Girl, but there's more than that. Should I fucking forget? Like, The Dirt. She sold that. Dude, I Just Want My Pants Back. Banshee. Artemis Fowl, which took 15 years to get made. I think she sold Orange Is the New Black. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think so. I don't know. Sharp Objects. Tiny Beautiful Things. I'm sure there's more that got made, but that's the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole bunch of other shit below that sold. A lot. Okay? So, who am I going to listen to? Someone like that with over $1 billion in box office, or someone who's made zero in the studio box office? And let me go here, because this type of person's going to, to me, this is meetup vibes over here. This is absolute professional world over here versus meetup vibes. Okay? Big time, small time. Okay? Let me make this point. I've never, ever, ever done a fucking log line. Never. That is a fact. Okay? So to have someone like this make the claim that, essentially, you're not famous enough to not need a log line, well then why the fuck was I able to get away with it? But then they're going to say shit like this, because you were married to an agent and they made concessions for you. Bullshit. When you're married to an agent, they look at your shit under a bigger magnifying glass because they want to make sure, are you trying to pull a fast one? You trying to get like some free ride off of us? Because that's not going to fucking happen, my guy. You better be fucking good or fuck you, to keep it real, man. But this type of dude doesn't know that. And this type of dude thinks, oh, it's all nepotism. That's the only reason anything has ever happened to guys like me. Bullshit, man. The reason shit happened for people like me is because our scripts are better than yours, dude. Because we know we got to fucking prove ourselves above and fucking beyond. All right? If you want to keep it a buck, bro. And let me tell you this too. You're getting old, man. You're getting old. And don't assume to think that, if you're like, wait a minute, are you talking about probably not. And I want to be 100% clear about who I'm not talking about. Definitely not Guy. Definitely not. And definitely not Tim. 100% not. Beyond that, be my guest to guess it. And absolutely, this is a subtweet. But let me bring you to this point. When I wrote my very first screenplay, why Sherry's the first one who read it. The one that got me signed at CAA. Not some agency that represents monkeys and whatever the fuck else. Clowns and jugglers and shit. Like, come on, dude. Why did Sherry not say, you need a log line? You think this guy knows more about the industry than someone like Sherry with over $1 billion in box office, probably over $1.5 billion? Couple scripts on the best, shit of all time? You've got to be fucking kidding me, my guy. Like, this guy is so brand new that he doesn't understand this shit. So Sherry doesn't recommend that I do a log line, right? On my first fucking thing. It goes into Joe Cohen. Joe Cohen reads it, loves it, sends it to who ultimately represented me. Did Joe Cohen go back to Sherry? See, this shit is nuanced. Joe Cohen goes back to Sherry and says nothing other than I love it. I'm going to send it to another agent. But I'm not told this at the time. Do you get it? By the time Sherry sends it in, what I hear back is, they want to meet you to sign you. Why did Joe not go back to Sherry and say, but he needs a log line for me to give it to someone else? That never happened. So I get signed. That script goes out. My agent never fucking mentions the log line. Okay? And, some people could say that don't know a fucking thing about the industry. Well, that's because of nepotism. These people, when it goes out, to producers, they don't fucking know me as a writer. So that's not true. So let's deal with fucking reality. And the reality is they did not ask me for a log line. And then I had another thing. And Sherry's the first person that read that. And that goes out. And that lands with the tastemakers, man. Big players like those guys who do like tough shit, man. Did they ask me to do a log line? No. Then I write a pilot, and that goes out. Did my agent ask me to write a log line for that? No. No one. No, I should rephrase. No one demanded one. One rep asked me for one. So that's what CAA, and what happened there? And that's what I want to point out right here. Because if these types of people think like, oh, Jason or whomever is trying to like flex, like they're the biggest deal in the world. I'll speak for myself. I don't say that. What I say is I made it to the very bottom of the studio world. The very fucking bottom. Okay? My deal at CAA, it's probably enough to like, for them to buy some toilet paper to wipe their ass with instead of my screenplay. So that was kind of a victory, I don't claim it, like. So that's with that. No log lines there. And then, so that's at CA. Then when I go to resolution, no log lines. Then over to Gotham, no log lines. And then, when I go to Bellevue after that, I was asked, and it's like, do you want to bet, bro? I love betting when I know I'm going to fucking win. Do you want to bet that I've never fucking done a log line? 10 grand, dude. You want to do it? Just for fun, man. But I'll tell you this, I'll win, dude, and I can fucking prove it. I always have the receipts, dude. I don't do any bet that I can't win. When I go there, so here's what I'm saying. Ask them. Ask John to ask Jeff, who is or was or whatever. I don't know what's going on with them now, but ask them. I told Jeff, I said, he asked me for a log line, and I said, I don't do them. Okay? And Jeff said, why don't you just try to do one, man? Like, and I'll kind of fuck with it after that. And I said, listen, man, I suck at them, dude. I'm not doing one. You do it, man. You know, I trust you. Go do it. You know. And so, eventually he's like, okay, yeah, I'll put something together, And I'm like, cool, man. You have my blessing, dude. I don't think I ever, if he did do a log line, I never saw it. Okay? So, no, I've never done a log line. And who the fuck are we talking about going out to? Am I talking about small players in the indie world and this kind of shit? People like trying to like fucking shoestring their shit together. Nothing against the indie world, dude. I'm happy to work with the indie world on some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? That's not my point. I'm talking about the studio world. Never done one, and Sean Corden, I think I got his last name right, the surfer, he said that too. He said, I've never ever done one, dude. And I've seen his lists. You know what I mean? Like who he goes out to. And it's like identical to mine. It's just that list of, it's just like the typical list of who you go to when you're going to the A-list tastemaker crowd. That's all I've been to. I haven't been to like kind of like the lower level. Only this up here. That's it. 100%, that's it. With everything. Did I say that already? How much of my shit landed going into development? Out of 10 scripts, around, best guess, like 5. So that's pretty good. 50%. That's a pretty good batting average, I would say, to have the chance to maybe get it made. You know what I mean? Hey man, the industry's tough as fuck. Okay? So, and then let me say this, or let me go here, and then I'll go to there. So, I've seen Sean's list, and it's a typical shit, as far as, what who his stuff has gone to. It's a typical thing, like De Bonaventura, Doug Lyman, shit like that, like Plan B, Scott Free, Imagine, Bad Robot, whatever, like that shit. So, I know that his shit is, has gone to the big boys. You know what I mean? And he's never done a log line, and my shit has gone to them too. And I've never done a log line, and I've had some of them attached to my shit and say, I want to develop this, and they never fucking asked me for a log line. Like who? For example, DeLuca. Is he small time? Is Erwin Stoff small time? No, dude. Never asked me for a log line. I don't know what these people are talking about. So all I'm saying there is it's very dangerous to make these declarations that you must be super famous or you have to do a log line. No, you don't. What you do need to do is you do need to make sure that they know what the heart of it is. That is the main fucking thing. Someone thought of who thought of these log lines? I don't know. What's the backstory on that? I'd be fascinated to know. But I've read a ton of log lines that are fucking trash, or done calls where I'm like, what is it? And they give me the log line. I've done 500 plus calls with different writers. Like 500 different fucking writers, man. You guys know who you are. And I've heard some pitches that were like, I guess you could call it a log line, but some of them were not traditional log lines, but a sort of, short, concise, here's what it is. That's the point of this shit. The log line, to me, it's like someone thought of this shit because they thought, I'm not a creative, so what makes sense to my brain? This plus that plus this plus that. That's the move. Like some of it you can't explain it like that, and you just got to get into like, I was inspired. This do, and you tell them a little story that's quick, that is fucking emotional. You know what I mean? Which let me point right over to Luke. There's no fucking log line there. 1 million views later, dude. There is no traditional log line in that. I mean, arrest my fucking case, dude. All that people need to know is, what is it? And by the way, going back to that, when I did these calls, then people would say some shit like, here's a log line. And I'm like, I'm not seeing it, dude. Like, something is fucking no. So then I constantly, I would ask, what is it really about? And they're like, oh, well, what it's really about is this. And then they tell me some shit and it's fucking way better, dude. Some people, like 5 people out of 500 calls, what percentage is it? 1%? Nailed it off the top, you know. But there was several others that, you know, when you just ask them, what is it? Calm down. Fuck these log lines, I don't care. What is it in here? And they tell you that shit. And you're like, oh, okay. That is compelling, dude. That is compelling. That would make me read it. It might be 4, 5, 6 sentences. So fucking what? Okay? Do you want to read or no? So, circling back to that shit is, I just think it's incredibly dangerous for someone to, because their ego and their pride is so forward, that they would rather attack other people who've been incredibly deep in the industry or whatever, versus really look at what they're saying. Someone like me or someone like anybody else. You know what I'm saying? And so I guess I'll kind of close with that, is when I say there's people that, you know, they're at the very beginning. Someone who's older like that does not have the time to see the shit that I saw, for example. The whole fucking gamut. And if people like that think like, oh, Jason or someone like me is jealous of them, it's like, you're tripping balls, bro. I've already seen it. Like Cube said, Ice Cube. Once you see one party, you've seen them all, man. But I've seen a fuck ton of parties. I've held those parties. There's nothing left for me to do in the industry, you know, like really. But you haven't had a movie made. Like, I don't really care about that shit anymore. You know what I mean? Like, if it ever happens, kind of fine. But I'd much rather someone else have that happen, because that's never been my dream, dude. But when I mean the industry goes deep, and for some people, for this guy in particular, will never see that side. You know, I was 20, me and Sherry and I were 22, 3 years old, you know, when we came into the industry. That's 30 years ago, dude. Like, grew up with people who are fucking big shots now, dude. People making $15, $20 million a year now. And we knew them back when they were like, you know, broke as fuck, living in like a studio apartment, futon, all that kind of shit. Now they're big dogs and this kind of shit. Going through that shit, going through the whole fucking gamut, man. It's like, if you're old, you know, that you'll never see that. And so, you know, when you know when you know you've gone super balls deep in the industry, is when you are jumping out of your whatever, your Range Rover or something. You jump out, and for example, like this moment stands out to me a lot. When when we went to do a charity event at Venice High School. It's all like CA'd out and, you know, painting flowers on the walls and this kind of shit. When we jumped out at this event, and I'm just seeing like, it hit me where I'm just like, I'm just seeing a sea of kids jumping out and the parents, and it's all agents and this kind of shit. And it's all Range Rovers and Porsches and whatever the fuck else. And it just hit me. I'm like, this parking lot will never look like this on a normal day. You know, and all of these kids are connected as fuck and they don't even realize it yet. You know, I'm jumping out with my niece. She's holding my hand. She's like 6, 7, this kind of shit. You know, she's been to premieres since she was a little kid. You know what I mean? None of this shit's new to her. You know, back then she's like, I've been going to premieres fucking forever, like, and sort of all this kind of shit. And yeah, and so eventually she wanted to be an agent. I knew she would. And Sherry knew she did too. And Sherry kind of like pumped her up, like to go in that direction. And so did I, you know, and, sidebar real quick. I think it's hilarious. I'll end this shit soon. I think it's hilarious that some people think that, oh, Jason, you were just on the sideline like some little dummy sitting in the corner like this kind of shit. Do I seem like a dude with no fucking opinion? When it comes to that whole fucking thing, man, 100% I have a fucking opinion. And Sherry came to me a lot. You know, I can hear my ladies home. I gotta wrap this up. So anyway, the point there before I wrap this up is, then later, once my niece was in her 20s and shit, you know, she started interning. She interned like over the summer, like at a lot of places and shit. I knew she wanted to be an agent, and you know, and then then she's hanging out with, you know, this big shot person hanging out with their kid, this big shot person hanging out with their kid, this big shot person hanging out with their kid, and they're all collectively like networking and this kind of shit, and you just see it. You're just like, that is nepotism right there. That 100%. You know what I mean? So if you're 3-4 months into being repped at some place way the fuck out there, you have not seen it that deep. And it goes way deeper into the fucking dark shit in this kind of shit, right? Sherry's fucking dead, dude. You know, so I don't give a flying fuck with some dude online who has some list that I don't give a fuck about. I don't need you. I don't need your fucking list. I don't give a fuck about you, dude. Block me, dude. I don't give a fuck. But if you want to debate me, dude, about the industry, how it really fucking is, dude, let's go, dude. Tough guy. You're going to start telling people, that's what you said. You're going to start telling people to fuck off. Tell me to fuck off. Promise you this, my guy, you would never say that to my fucking face. And secondly, if this is not a request, my guy, but if I did an interview with you, I would fucking, I would blow your mind apart about what it really is like, because you have no idea, dude. And I would just ask you questions. What about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? You're the one who said, you're the one who's talking, you're the one who's starting to talk shit about people. You're the good guy, right? I'm the bad guy. I'm on the dark side. You're on the light side. You're the one that's starting to talk shit at people, not me, man. So, you know, anyway, let's close with that. You will never get to the place. That's my prediction, homeboy. You will never get to the place of doing $1 million deal plus. Never. That's my prediction. If you ever do that, go ahead, post it, and I will concede that I'm wrong. Okay? But in the meantime, you have every right in the world to share whatever the fuck you want to share. But the rest of us have every right in the world to say you are dead fucking wrong because you have not proven that. I'm out, guys. Best of luck. And I recommend, man, just understanding that there's multiple ways to do the industry, multiple ways. Anybody who's telling you, you must do this, you must do that, is full of shit. And they've never fucking done it. Go look at their background, dude. Go ask them questions and watch how quickly they start talking about bullshit. You know, fucking laurels and this kind of, you know, you gotta win a fight. No, you don't. None of that. No, you don't. Okay? That's my opinion. Peace, guys, and kill it. And I hope your fucking dreams come true. And if you fucking grind, you'd be surprised what you can fucking pull off. I'm out, guys. Later.